Most men will never understand what it means to walk this world alone. They think loneliness is a curse. They think isolation is a punishment. They fear silence, because in silence, they can finally hear the truth. And most men cannot handle the truth about who they really are. But a warrior is forged in that silence. People talk about companionship, support systems, and being surrounded by good energy. Cute. That's the language of men who have never carried weight heavy enough to break their spine. Men who fear responsibility. Men who crumble the moment the world stops pampering them. When you choose the path of greatness, real greatness, not Instagram fantasy, you walk into a storm where nobody follows because the path is too dark, too cold, too merciless, and the weak retreat back to comfort the moment they feel the temperature drop. That's where the lone warrior is born. Most men live in herds, like sheep. They move together. They think together. They fail together. They convince themselves that being part of a crowd means strength. But crowds are made of cowards hiding behind numbers. You think the masses are your friends. You think the group will carry you to greatness. They won't even carry themselves. How the hell are they going to carry you? A lion doesn't walk with sheep, not because he hates them, but because he doesn't need them. He understands what they don't. Strength is earned in solitude. When you walk alone, there's no one to rely on, no one to blame, no one to hide behind. The mirror becomes your only witness, and the man staring back becomes your only opponent. And believe me, that's the strongest enemy you will ever face. When you walk alone, life strips away everything fake, every excuse, every illusion, every weakness. It exposes you, it tests you, it tries to break you. But in that brutal process, it also builds you. Because solitude is not emptiness. It is pressure. It is heat. It is the furnace where real men are forged into something unrecognizable to the herd. Men today fear being alone because solitude reveals their insignificance. It reveals their lack of purpose, their lack of discipline, their lack of identity. That's why they drown themselves in noise, scrolling, distractions, friendships that add no value, women who drain their spirit, anything to avoid being alone with themselves. But a lone warrior embraces solitude. He seeks it. He thrives in it. When the world goes quiet and nothing stands between him and his ambition, his brain becomes a weapon. His focus becomes lethal. His grind becomes unstoppable. While the herd spends their nights chasing validation, the lone warrior sharpens his mind like a blade. While they sleep, he works. While they gossip, he grows. While they rest, he becomes dangerous. People say, nobody can do it alone. Wrong. Nobody wants to do it alone, because doing it alone means carrying your destiny with your own hands. It means taking full responsibility. It means owning your failures with no one to blame. Only the strongest men accept that burden. That's why they rise above everyone else. The lone warrior understands something the weak never will. You do not need the world. The world needs you. People will tell you you're too cold, too distant, too intense. They'll say you're obsessed. They'll try to guilt you back into the herd, not because they care about you, but because your presence exposes their lack of discipline. Your ambition reminds them of their wasted potential. Your focus embarrasses their laziness. They fear you, not because you're violent, but because you're committed. When you walk alone, you become unpredictable, uncontrollable. untouchable. You stop waiting for approval. You stop seeking validation. You stop depending on anyone to feel powerful. You become sovereign, and nothing terrifies the world more than a man who doesn't need it. The truth is simple. Greatness is a lonely road. Champions didn't train surrounded by applause. Kings weren't crowned in echo chambers of comfort. Legends weren't built with an audience cheering them on. They walked through deserts alone. They fought battles nobody saw. They swallowed pain nobody understood. They bled in silence, and when they finally rose above everyone else, the world called them geniuses, heroes, icons. But where were those people when the warrior was walking in darkness with nothing but discipline holding him together? Nowhere, because greatness is achieved alone long before the world sees it. A lone warrior is not a man without allies. He is a man who does not depend on them. He doesn't burn energy trying to please everyone. He doesn't fear being misunderstood. He doesn't waste time explaining his mission to people who will never walk his path. He moves with purpose, clear, ruthless, unstoppable. He knows that every hour spent alone is an hour invested in his future self. He knows the nights where nobody claps are the nights where champions are created. He knows solitude is not punishment. It's preparation. Let them party. Let them sleep. Let them chase comfort. Let them drown in the noise of the world. Because when the sun rises and the smoke clears, only one man will still be standing. The one who walked alone. The world wants to convince you that being alone means weakness. But the man who fears solitude is already weak. A warrior who trains alone becomes invincible. A king who builds alone becomes untouchable. A man who walks alone becomes unstoppable. So if you feel alone right now, good. If people left you behind, good. If nobody understands your vision, good. If you wake up every day knowing you're different, good. You were never meant to join the herd. You were meant to lead it. You were meant to outgrow it. You were meant to intimidate it. Only those who walk alone walk the path the herd will never find. Be the lone warrior. The man who carries his destiny on his back. The man who needs no applause, no followers, no validation. The man who forges himself in darkness until the world has no choice but to feel his presence, walk alone, train alone, rise alone. And when the day comes where the world finally sees the monster you became in silence, they will kneel, because the lone